Hi developers, let's learn how to use Terraform to automate the creation and configuration of resources on the cloud. This is part of the infrastructure as code, where instead of going to the cloud provider dashboard and click the button to create a new resource, then configure that resource by giving it a name, configuring its different services and so on. So this is a manual task and we want to automate this task. So the solution could be using Terraform. So with Terraform, we'll have all this configuration written inside a file. This configuration will include the type of the service we want to create. In the case of Azure App Service, for example, then we'll give it the name that we want to use, the runtime that it should use, and the connection strings, the global environment variables, and so on. So all of this configuration will be described in a file, and then with Terraform providers, we can connect to the cloud provider and run this file to create the resources in the cloud. So this could be done using the command line. So it could be automated in a DevOps pipeline. The advantage of such a concept or such an approach is that it could be source controlled, so it could live in our Git repository, then it will be shared with our team members. And a second advantage is that it could be used in order to create the different dev, staging, and production environment. If we do this manually, then we should do lots of steps manually and repeatedly. But with those infrastructure as code files like Terraform, we can reproduce those different, or we can create those different environments by just changing the configuration for each environment. And that could be done using the variables .tf files in the case of Terraform. With Azure, we can use the ARM templates in order to create and configure resources, and with AWS we can also use the CloudFormation, but each one of those is specific to its cloud provider. ARM template works only on Azure cloud, and CloudFormation works only on Amazon. But Terraform works on almost all the major cloud providers, whether it is Azure, Amazon, Google Cloud, Oracle, and it works also on-premise. So let's see how we can get started with Terraform. Terraform could be used to create resources on different cloud providers. One of them is Microsoft Azure Cloud. And here in this documentation, we can find the different resources that could be created thanks to the different providers available. This go from the API management, app service, the databases, the load balancers, Redis, search resources, and many more. Here I want to create an app service in Azure. For that, I'll use this template or this code, which is a Terraform code. This uses the HCL HashiCorp language to describe the resources that I want to create. I have created a customized version of this code, which is available on my GitHub repository. So if you go to this repo right here, you can find in app service the code that we'll be using today. I have already cloned that project in my Visual Studio Code. So for that here, I have this same template, but in order to enable coloration and detection of different resources in this template, I have installed a Terraform template. So if you go to the marketplace or to the extensions window and type Terraform, you can find that there is two known Terraform extensions. I have installed them both in order to make it easy for me to manipulate Terraform files. So now coming back to my main.tf, which tf for Terraform, the extension for Terraform files. So here I want to create an app service, and when we create an app service in Azure, we need to first create a resource group. so that the resource group will be or will contain my app service. And in addition to that, I need to create a service plan for my app service. For that, here I start my Terraform file with creating a resource group. And here we have the keyword resource to specify the type of the resource we want to create. And here, this is Azure RM resource group. This is a keyword in Terraform HCL language, which will tell Azure to create a new resource group. This one will be called test. This resource group will have the name Terraform resource group, and here you can define the name you want to use. A resource group should have a location, and in my case, I want this resource group to be deployed in West Europe. Then after creating the resource group, I want to create an app service plan. For that, here I'm using the keyword app service, Azure RM app service plan. This also will be called test. But here, note, test here could be used to name different resources, but depending on the type of the resources, so I can reuse it multiple times, attach it to the type of its resource. Then I have the name for this resource, so I'll call it Terraform App Service Plan. Then the location, and note that here the location, I'm not saying it should be West Europe or any other location, but I'm referring to the location of my Azure RM resource group using the this notation $, then the name of the variable, then the test, then the location. So this will take the same location as my resource group. And the same for the resource group name. I'll take the name for my resource group, define it in here. The SKU for my app service plan, this is specific to Azure, so it will use the standard one and the size S1. So this is to configure the app service plan. Now let's move to the app service that we have. Now that we have the resource group and the app service plan created, now we can configure the app service. For the app service, we'll be using the resource Azure RM app service, and we'll be calling it also test. My app service will use the name Terraform app service, and here of course you can also choose your own naming. It will take the location, the same location as my resource group location, so this means it will be deployed in West Europe. And then for the resource group name, it will use this resource group that we have created earlier. Then for the app service plan ID, it will use the ID of the service plan that we have created right here. ID will be computed when this configuration will be deployed in Azure. For the app service, we might have some configuration like the .NET Framework version and the SEM type. With app service, we can deploy .NET applications or Java or PHP or Node.js apps, and for each it have a different configuration. This is to configure .NET, but if you want to configure Node.js, then you will have a specific name to configure Node.js. And if you want to take a look at that configuration, you can go here and click the name of the resource, and that will open a new window. And here it will give you the example and all the arguments that we can use with that configuration. Note here the tags, the usage of HTTPS only, the name, the values, always on features, and many more of the features and the configurations that we can apply to an app service on Azure. We have here some other settings. So we can write app settings. Those will be the environment variables that will be used from my application deployed in the app service. Here, maybe I want to create some key with a value, some value. So this will be configured to my app service. And with app service, we typically connect to a database. For that, we have a specific section for connection strings. So we'll specify the name of the connection string, database in my case, and the type of the connection string. Here I wanted to connect to SQL Server instance, and then we might have the value for that connection string. Here I have just put a sample connection string. Now that we have our Terraform configuration, let's now try to deploy it using the command line. I'll switch here to my command line, and first thing to do is to connect to your Azure subscription. Here I can connect to my Azure subscription using the AZ tool. For that I'll use AZ login, and here of course make sure you have AZ CLI installed on your machine. Then I'll hit enter, and this will open a new window and will ask me to connect to my Azure subscription. I have already done that, so I don't need to do this. Then to make sure I'm connected to my Azure subscription, I'll go and list my accounts. So I'll go to say AZ account list, specify the output to be a table. Then from here I can see all my subscriptions, and in my case I'll be using the Azure sponsorship subscription. Once that's done, now we should install Terraform. So to do that, you can go to this page right here, get started with Terraform, and for installing Terraform, and it will show you the instructions on how to install Terraform CLI tool in your machine, in your macOS or Windows or Linux machine. I have already installed it on my machine, so now if I type Terraform, here it will give me the different commands that I can use. And here we'll see the different commands. We'll see the command init, then we'll see the command destroy, apply, and of course the command plan. Let's see those different commands. Let's clear this, and let's make sure you are in the same directory where you have your main.terraform file. I'll start with the first command, terraform init. This command will initialize the configuration for Terraform. So this will check the providers that it needs in order to deploy my Terraform configuration. And here it detected that it needs to use the Azure ARM plugin to deploy my configuration. Once that's done, now I can use the command terraform plan. With a terraform plan, we'll read my Terraform files, we'll read the configurations, and it will see which are the components that will be created and which one will be changed and which one will be destroyed. So here it detects that I want to create 3 new resources. And we can see those different resources right here. So in each time I see this plus sign here, it means that I want to create this resource. So here I detected that I want to create an app service with this configuration. So it will have an ID that will be computed during the deployment of this configuration. Then it will use the app service plan ID that I have specified. It will have some key defined, key values. Then it will have the other configurations right here. It will have, for example, the connection string database of type SQL Server. Then here didn't type the value for my connection string because it considers it as sensitive data. And then it detected that I want to create an app service plan with this configuration and a resource group, call it Terraform resource group hosted on West Europe. So for now, Terraform didn't deploy anything. It just detected what I want to do, and it tells me if now I deploy this template, what it will do. So it will create those 3 different resources. Let's now apply this configuration. So let's do that using the command terraform apply. When running terraform apply, Now Terraform will connect to my Azure subscription, and here it's asking me to confirm that I want to apply this configuration. So it tells me again here, hey, you want to create those three different resources, and please confirm you want to do that. So I'll say yes, and now Terraform will connect to my Azure subscription, and using its providers, using Azure Resource Manager, it will try to create those different resources. So note here detected my subscription that I'm using here currently in this environment, because I have already done AZ login, so I'm connected to my Azure subscription. And now it started creating the app service. That will take a few seconds until it fully create those different services. And now if I go to my Azure subscription, if I go to resource group, then from here I should be able to see that there is some new resources that are being created. And here we see Terraform resource group is being created. So if I open that resource group, I can see here I have the app service and app service plan already created for me. And once it's done creating the resources, from here, if I go to app service, to my app service, I can see that here I have the configuration that I have applied, and if I go to configuration section, I will find the key that I have created, call it some key, so with its value, and I also will see the connection string that I have created, which is the one right here with the value created from the Terraform file, which were specified right here. So this is how we can use Terraform to provision resources. Now, what if I want to destroy or to delete those different resources from here? I can do that by using another Terraform command. And this time it is the Terraform Destroy. So using Terraform Destroy, Terraform will connect to my Azure subscription, and it will see the different resources that I already created. Then it will go and delete them one by one. Here, before doing that, it will ask me, those are the different resources that you have previously created. Do you want really to delete those? So from here, I'll go to confirm by saying, yes, I want to do that. And in a few seconds, we'll be able to see that those different resources will be removed from my Azure subscription. And here they are already deleted. And now if I go to refresh the list of my resource groups, this will take a few seconds. So let's wait for it until it finishes. And now it tells me all my resources were created. So if I go back to my Azure subscription, refresh the list of the resource groups, I should not see a Terraform resource group. So let's do that. And here it was disappeared because it was destroyed completely by Terraform. So this is how we can use Terraform to provision, configure, and delete resources. This is useful to automate those different tasks in a CI/CD pipeline, or to create different staging, production, and test environments. Here we have seen the sample of creating an Azure App Service, but there is some other different samples available on the GitHub repository right here. So if you go to the examples, you will see that here there is lots of samples provided, and lots of them are also documented on this page right here. So if you want to get the same sample I used today, you can go to this resource or this GitHub repository, and you can clone this repo right here and start playing with Terraform. At the end, of course, make sure to check my YouTube channel for new videos coming on Terraform and on using infrastructure as code, cloud, and DevOps. So thank you.